Hey guys, it's Ron. It's been a week since we launched the channel, and a lot of you have asked me some questions through Messenger because the majority of you are my friends on Facebook, and so I thought I'd answer a few of these questions for you. The first thing you guys asked about were some books that I like and that I would recommend, and there are three that really impacted me in regards to directing my path and including Cernunnos in both my practice and my craft. The first one, which I talked about a good bit, is this one, The Path of the Green Man by Michael Thomas Ford. Love this book. It's geared towards gay men, but it has a lot of folklore and stories in it that I think can, pretty much apply to anybody. I really recommend it whether you're gay or not. The next one, which was the book on shadow work that I told you guys about that I was going to put the link in and didn't do. And I don't know if it's okay to just put these out there. We'll see. But the other one, when I was questioning shadow work and what all that was and how to get started, everybody kind of had a different opinion, and nobody really straight up just told me what it was. Everybody had a different idea. This book is what really put me on the path for my work with shadow work. I do a lot of the things in the book. There are step-by-step things that you do. I went through the book, and it was not an easy thing to do. For me, it's always been very hard to look in the mirror and tell me that I love me. It just always has been. But this is the book, Dark Moon Mysteries by Timothy Roderick. Love it. Love this book. You will too. And then another fictional based on folklore, I believe. These books were given to me, two of these books were given to me by my friend Patrick Stevenson in Auburn, the guy that I told you about, the wizard, who is one of the most lovely men that you will ever meet in your life. This is another book, his story. And I will tell you, this is a book that I believe everyone should read, regardless of what your path. Anyway, the conversation about the masculine and the feminine, which, by the way, we all carry. Our bodies literally make both male and female hormones. In the womb, those hormones are used to develop who we become. Throughout life, who we become is based on this hormonal balance. We are the masculine and the feminine, the divine masculine and divine feminine. And how we work with those and how we balance those in our everyday life is important. We're not one or the other, and we need to find our balance in there. So another question that I got was about my heritage. I think the majority of you know my story. I'm half Native American. My mother is 100%. And there was some of you questioned not in a bad way, but questioned my connection to a Gaelic or Celtic god. In the Native American wisdoms, there are lots of deities, just as many deities as there are tribes. I do think a lot of them overlap, but it would take, honestly, me forever to go through and say, this god is, this and this and this. Native American wisdom is based on the Creator God, and the Mother Earth. We see it's an animistic thought, which is why I settled in Wicca to begin with, because of its rever to nature and the animistic take on it, that everything in the universe has an energy, a soul. I do believe that to be true. Everything. I think everything has it. Everything has an aura. Everything has it puts off an energy vibe. These things can be proven. and it's a will-based knowledge. So there is a horned god in the Native American wisdom, Kokopelli, who is a god of music, fertility, depending on who you're talking to. But he seems more to me, in my walk, he seems more to mirror the Greek Pan. I don't associate Cernunnos per se with music or lust or any of those. Certainly fertility, certainly the masculine form. And for me, knowing who I am spiritually and cosmically, he is my balance. He is what I need to be a whole. I do not worship Cernunnos. When you come from a Christian background like I have, one of the first questions is, who do I worship? I don't worship any of them. I work with them. I think we are all aspects of all of them. And I think when it is our calling to use that aspect is when it is time in our life that we need, to develop that. He has shown himself to me many times in my life and has been a strong force with me. I do not disassociate myself necessarily with my Christian upbringing. I revere what I was taught in the Bible. I think the majority of what's in the Bible are great stories and guides, but I do believe what's in there. I think our understanding of what happened then and what happened now would be spoken differently. It's been translated so many times that, I really feel like if you're studying it, listen to your truth, not necessarily what somebody's going to tell you to do. Bottom line, that's what it is for you. I revere everything that I believe I was taught about Christ and how he lives to this day. You will see me empty my pocket if somebody's in need. You'll see me give my lunch to the starving dog in the parking lot at work. I mean, that's me. That's just me. I'm not saying you need to do those things. What I have a problem with now in our world today are the followers of the Christ Spirit and how they just don't seem to gel with what I've read and what I've come to believe in my heart as who he is. How do I use Cernunnos in my work was another question. There are, as I said before, in my practice and in the work that I do for other people, I have a tendency to follow the moon phases. And depending on the work that I'm doing, work with the deities and the aspects of those deities that are associated with that work. I do work with a lot of the goddesses. He is my main male deity, although I have worked with others, especially in cases where I needed an iron energy or a fire energy, those things. I do believe that the majority of the sage gods, the sun gods, Cernunnos, Odin, those, I believe all share a lot of aspects, just like the goddesses do. So, yes, I do use others. How I use him mainly is I use him in my daily life. I told you I had dedicated myself to him. I know that when I first started, I get sidetracked with daily life, as everybody does, and I can tell when my communion with any of them, especially him, is feeling a little weak. Once again, I don't worship any of them. I work with them. I ask them to develop the part of me that I need their aspect to use and develop. With Cernunnos, he has been a very important part of my being, my coming to my wanting to get back to my root, and then also getting back to my male form. I got depressed years ago, and it lasted a long time, and did everything the doctors told me to do. I took every pill they told me to take, and to be all honest, no, there was nothing there. I took the ADD meds, I took the antidepressant meds, I took all those, and some of them felt good. I liked them, but they were a patch to a solution. They were not the solution, they were a patch. Astrology really helped me understand who I am in the cosmos, and I do believe that there is a basis for all of that. If you've ever had your birth chart done and you've really looked into the different houses that make up each of us, it's amazing. I recommend everybody do it. As a gay man, I see a lot in the world today change from when I was a kid. We have the trans movement now. We have a lot of different things that were around when I was a kid but weren't as prevalent. As a gay man, I appreciate being a male. I'm not trans. I don't have that desire to be a woman. I don't feel like I'm a woman in a man's body. I do feel that I'm gay, and what I've come to know is that homosexual. But I do understand that my house, there are aspects of my birth chart that are ruled by the goddess, straight up. Lilith particularly. Many houses of mine are ruled by Lilith, and she rules my Leo moon, my sun. So I understand that I am an aspect of the goddess in male form. So I need Cernunnos to balance me out. And I know that may sound weird to a lot of you, and a lot of you are going to get it. But that's what I've come to understand. So when I use Cernunnos in my personal daily life, it is to reinforce and strengthen that masculine that I need strengthened. When I work out, I ask him to be with me and develop my body in that form. This is who I am on this earth in this incarnation, and I've grown to love and appreciate it, and I want to develop that. When I do workings, anytime I need to develop something from scratch, and it needs a planning and nourishing, I ask and work with Cernunnos in that. And then a lot of times those workings will be both male and female. I will work with him in the beginning, and I will nourish that and feed that and develop it through a moon with one of the goddesses. There are some workings that I've done for men, specifically gay and straight men, who I have worked solely with Cernunnos and gotten wonderful results with. Like I said, that's who he is with me. We have that. I was asked about music, and there's a lot of music that inspires me with him. I believe that the gods and goddesses talk to us because I believe we're aspects of them, and I believe that they speak to us no matter where we are on this earth, in a way that we understand, whether that be our physical language, whether it be through our gifts. I believe artists are communicated with images and motivation and muses, where musicians, those of us with those clairaudient, clairsentient, all those clair gifts, any of our gifts the gods use to communicate with us. Some of the music that I enjoy, little dandelion fluff, I don't know if you saw that going, gift from the universe. A lot of the music that I listen to is probably not enjoyed by a lot of, other Cernunnos followers. One of the first songs that hit me as a child that made an impact on me, and I realized later in life why and how, was Heart's Magic Man. they talk of the blue-eyed magic man, and he came to me with cobalt blue eyes, very cobalt blue eyes. To this day, it's my favorite color. It's my go-to color for a lot of the workings that I do. I think that color is important to me, and so when I would listen to that song as a kid, because my parents listened to all that music, that song had such an amazingly strong pull to me and influence, and I never understood why. Growing up, looking back at the experience that I had at 12 when I first came to know him, I understand now, and I understand why it had resonance to me. Damn the Bard is another artist that I really love to listen to. Not necessarily linked to me in any other way other than him. I don't know my white side of the family is from Georgia. I don't know much of their ancient history. So, there could be a blood tie into that. I don't know. But there's a lot of music that, as it is with all of you, and our taste vary. It will always vary, and messages will come to us in other ways. I was asked if I was a witch. I explained in my video that Wicca was the path I've chosen to be on. And I'll go on record saying I don't like the word. I don't like the word because of the connotation that it means. And that connotation was given to us by the church. I wear the label, yes. So in answer to that question, yes, I consider myself a witch. Wiccan first, human second, and then, spiritual being, but yes, witch. A lot of people were, this is a story that everybody knows, a lot of people were persecuted for many, many, many years by the church, and what most people don't understand is that the person who we considered a witch, the healers, the people who walked the veil, the red road for Native Americans, the people who were our medicine man, who communed with the gods, who gave us spiritual advice. The church didn't get rid of all that stuff. They just convinced us that we had to go to them for it instead of looking inside ourselves. So while I don't like the term witch because of what it means to our world and, outward appearances, I do wear the badge. One of the things that I loved about when I talked earlier about my experience with the Church of Religious Science, was that it took all the truths that were truths in all the major religions. It found those truths, and that's what they promote. All to me witchcraft is an understanding of the way nature works, communing with that nature and that energy, and bringing about the change in your world that you would like to see. The only way I know to make the world a better place and change the world is to create what it is that I want in my life. And one of the things that I'm passionate about is helping other people. So a lot of my practice is just that. Helping other people, helping them find their way, helping them commune with the deities that are reaching out to them. Cleansing, protection, healing, all that is, basically my gig. I know firsthand what it's like when you have that cleanse or that limpia done, and when you start that shadow work, and that once you can start healing those things and realizing what you unleash for yourself, and in turn the world around you, it's just an amazing feeling, and it's just hard to stop. It's wonderful. A couple of days ago, I was led to do a reading, collective reading from Cernunnos, and got some messages. as I told you before in another video, I am very tech challenged, and that particular day I had a lot of distractions. If you see the table, just like it did then, the bumping and moving, we have a 6-month-old dog that Jim rescued out of the freeway named Tula. And Tula is usually at my feet and doing what puppies do, chewing my feet, bothering me, moving the table. So I apologize for any of that you've seen in the video. That was also one of the questions asked about what was going on. The video was so choppy, and I had to stop so many times that I just didn't feel like publishing it. But 2 days later, these messages are still on my head, and so I pulled the majority of the cards that gave me those messages, and I feel like I do need to give them out. The first message from him started with the Ace of Athames, and there's a little mouse blowing a wish. So I don't know as a collective what we're hoping for, but he's bringing this about. This Ace of Wands followed by the Oak King, which is the Hanged Man in this deck, and the Ace of Pentacles. So while the outcome is great, I feel like he's asking us not to get complacent in the things that we want. He's bringing the things that we're wanting, or especially somebody's wanting. He's coming in with that. Any time I see a little bird, that's the universe for me bringing something. And a lot of times in our practice, we get complacent. We ask for things. We get to the point where we want something to happen. And in this world right now, it is so conflicted and so twisted. There's a lot of change coming that we can't control, and so we want to be part of it, and we should be. It's our world to make it as we wish. And I do believe he's answered that call and is working towards that in whatever way that is to you. The second message was geared towards someone specific. It was a Six of Athames, Six of Swords, which is, I feel like this person is contemplating some type of a life change, a move, and he's letting you know that this is the right thing. At the end of this journey was the Two of Chalices, so there's happiness at the end of this. Now, what came up in the middle was the Tower card, and if you notice, this change is being brought on by the gods and goddesses, and he's blowing his horn there. And a Page of Pentacles. Now, when I get this card, I see a person who is either starting a path or needs to go back and revisit their path. But I see you've got all the tools you need to work with. This card in particular reminds me so much of the Magician card, because you've got basically all of the elements there. So I do feel like one of the collective messages he's telling us is start to look at things as we did as children when we were first called to do all this work that we do and to work with him. This is also specifically for this person to, look at things new. Two people together isn't always a couple. It could be a new job. It could be any kind of new venture, new relationship. So in this card, I do see water. So I don't know if this is across the country travel, another continent, another country, but the answer to your question is that he's there. It's been blessed. It's going to turn out. Another message I got was for someone that I feel he either stopped you from hurting yourself or stopped you from hurting another. You do see him. This was him. This Six of Wands, this bay crown in the shape of the two antlers, and then the path of light there. I feel like you did see him. It was real. He's validating what you saw. The Wheel of Fortune in this deck is the oak leaf, which is highlighting he's the Oak King. There's also a Morning Glory in there. So I feel like this is spring and fall together. So while this year and last year were tumultuous for a lot of us, and I don't know if that's connected into what you're feeling, the Five of Cups is here. And while you're upset And you know, this is kind of a feeling of despair always in this card, but there is always a hope in this card, because you've got 3 gifts hanging above you that you're not looking at, and the past is no longer is leaving you. If you'll notice in that shadow, the shadow's looking forward. The shadow is moving on. This trouble that you've been in is moving on. And it was him that stopped you. You know what I'm talking about. He was there. Another message I had was, I felt it was for a group of people. I see this King of Coins. For me, this felt very much as though someone had passed. I feel it's causing a lot of reflection about who you are and what you're made out of. I feel very strongly that this is a group. I don't know if this is a coven or a brotherhood or something that's lost a leader, or a family that's strong together in dealing with Cernunnos, but I've got the 4 of Wands, and this felt like a family to me. It's stable, but you'll notice all the candles are different. And then the Magician, and I felt like this is what was lost, the key to everything, what gelled, what made you feel whole. There was a feeling when I read that particular group. There was a feeling of the message came through that it was time for somebody else to pick up and move on with the knowledge. I felt very strongly that this was a divine feminine who's questioning whether or not to step up, but it is the divine feminine that needs to take place, that needs to move into this spot. You're correct in your feeling, and I feel it's going to be completely supported in whatever way this message needs to come through. When I asked him for a final message for all of us, the collective, I got the World card. A new path. Let's carve something new. Let's recreate the world the way we want it to be. And the Page of Cups. Now this completely feels like newness to me. It's spring. It's eggs that have not hatched yet. It's our ideas. It's our wishes. It's our dreams. The world is open to us. What we've got to do is nurture. We've got to protect, and we've got to keep on. When we take care of this nest, and I feel like this is definitely a home card. When we take care of our home, when we organize, when we clear out, when we declutter, when we do all those things that we know we need to do to bring new in, things start to happen. And this road is definitely happening. I do see a crossroads impression there, so I do feel like soon, because it's closer than it is further. Those mountains are further away, but that we can see that crossroad coming up. And our world is throwing a lot of crossroads at us right now. Like I said, there's a lot of change coming, whether we want it to or not. Open your eyes. Be aware of what's coming up. We may not can change it, but we can make a change on how it impacts us. We can change how it impacts those around us. We have the ability to help out in that, to cushion it, to do whatever it is we need to do. There was definitely a feeling of love. There was an embracing, a warmth embracing when I was doing the read. There's been a lot of question for me after the first week of how this was going. And I just feel it's meant to be. I thank all of you who have subscribed and joined and liked my stuff, and I know the majority of you are my personal friends, and I appreciate that. And I know that this is going to go out and reach the ones that are going to need it. And I am very, very thankful for him and the push and that he and the universe has given me to do this. And I want to thank you once again for allowing him to come to me to you, or allowing me to come to you, and for him allowing you to come to me, because you are going to fulfill a lot that I've got on my plate just as well. Please comment anything in the below. I understand that a lot of you can't comment because we don't want certain people to see some things we put down, and I get that, and I thank you for messaging me. But as you feel led to, and as you feel comfortable enough, please comment, and let's get a dialogue going, and let's see where this takes us. And we'll talk to you soon.